Hi, this is Lada from astrolada.com, and I'm here with one of your favorite astrologers, Trifon Nikolov, ancient Babylonian astrology, plus Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology. He's our wise man, incarnation of an ancient astrologer in present time. Hi, Trifon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lada. Really, someone tells me that he saw me in his dream that I was an astrologer in past life.
I'm
Whatever.
quite sure.
Whatever.
Come back to rediscover your own ancient knowledge to bring it back to us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This monthly prediction that you're going to do, prognosis, is especially important because it is going to influence the whole year ahead, won't it?
Yes, definitely. What is happening now is affecting the whole year and part of the next year, according to the rules coming to us from ancient Mesopotamian astrology. Because a couple of days ago, namely on the 18th of March, happened the day that they called the first Nisan. Nisan is the name of the first month in those ancient lands.
According to Babylonian astrology, isn't it?
Yes, and it was the first day of the year in that times and places. And according to what happened in the skies in that day, they judge about the whole year ahead.
And let me just ask something so I clarify to people. This first of Nisan, as it's called, the first day of the year, according to ancient astrology and cultures, it's not the same day every year. It's not on the 18th of March every year, is it?
Yes, definitely. It is the moment when, after the new moon that is closer to the equinox.
The closest new moon of the equinox. The
Yes.
first day of the new moon after the closest to the equinox.
Yes, and at the time after the new moon conjunction, when the moon is appearing around sunset in the sky on the western direction. This is the beginning of the year according to the ancients, and they were looking for that moment, what they will see.
Okay, and it was on the 18th of March this year. Okay, thank you.
Yes, so it happened, and it happened so that there are very interesting combinations. The moon was with Venus.
Wow, that's good, isn't it?
Yes, this is good, but there are also some other details that we have to know. So the moon with Venus in general is a good sign for the year.
Mercury also there. Mercury and Venus are close to each other now.
Yes. He was definitely. So Mercury also was there. But let's talk first about the combinations that were present. So the moon was with Venus, and Mercury was there. It was about to disappear. He made this after 2 days. And at the same time, there were also some aspects that are not so good to that combination, coming in a square from Mars and Saturn.
Yes.
Yes. So I was about to tell that everything will be excellent, but because there are those squares, I cannot say so. And even the events throughout the last days before that, they show it. For example, because we had Mercury and Venus in the sky all time, but in a square with Mars and Saturn, there were some major accidents. For example, in a country adjacent to mine, this is Turkey, not my country, but the adjacent country. So in Turkey, There couple of young women died in a tragic accident, and they were from the highest places in society. One of them was a daughter of a billionaire, and her friends. They died in a accident in their plane.
Oh, you mean because women are Venus, so women were...
Yes, women suffered, and also some other famous here women like models. They also died in accidents. So it was so for a couple of weeks. It happened all the time.
I had a bad time right after the birth of the baby. I had something very unpleasant happen, which just stressed the hell out of me. That's it annoyed me, and it's yeah. So I was wondering where it was coming from.
Yes, I thought this because it is showing how the combination is working. Mercury, Venus in a square with Mars and Saturn. Very beautiful and famous women, for example, or people are suffering in general because the Mercury and Venus conjunction is showing someone who is in a good position, probably a woman, but the square from the both malefic stars, planets in today's language, because in the past they say that the planets are two stars, but the moving stars. The other stars are the fixed. So, and this is the reason why, because on the first day of Nisan, we have this combination.
It means the whole year will be like that?
Obviously giving some troubles, some difficulties. So it can be said, because of this, that it is bad omen for the famous and important women in general, and that this combination is showing danger of accidents in the air, and on land, of course. But so the people that are connected with the art or science also were affected. So we can say this too. For example, Mercury was in the phase of heliacal phase. It was about to disappear at that moment. And according to the ancient rules, 7 days before Mercury will disappear, he is ruling the times and he is showing important events. And I think you know what happened. I look at the news from time to time, not so much because I haven't so much possibility to do it, but I noticed several things. So, important scientist died.
Ah, Hawkins, yes.
Yes, he is represented by Mercury, of course.
Yes, science and Mercury, knowledge, information, yeah.
Yes. Also, they said that the last white rhino died in Africa.
Rhino,
Yes.
rhinoceros. Okay. Oh wow, really? There's no more white rhinoceroses?
A whole species, so to say, or part of a species, disappeared from the face of the earth at that moment. Something else about the news. We had this problem with the security in Facebook. That happened at the same time. So
yeah, information, media, Mercury, yeah.
This everything is shown by the disappearance of Mercury, which is already a fact. Mercury disappeared before 2 days.
Yes. And it's active 7 days before that, 7 days after its phase is most potent. So for about, okay.
Yes, so because of this very interesting combination. Moon with Venus and Mercury. We can say that the year is very important about knowledge, about science, about art. There will be achievements, definitely, but also there will be destruction of lives of people connected with art and science. And also there will be also troubles in those fields in general for the world. So it will be very mixed here with good and
back. Great stuff and very. Can we see lots of astrologers all the time?
Yeah. So the moon with Venus represents an important year about spiritual development, and everything that is connected with spirituality will be highly stressed in society. And people who are capable of, they will have their possibilities of development. But at the same time, because of the Saturn-Mars conjunction in Sagittarius, the sign of religion, also we can say that we will be witness of great moral and principal problems in official religions. And even, again, as in the previous couple of years, violence connected with religion.
Okay, so it carries on.
Fanatics. So this
Do you
will
think
be
like women will be the ones that are being attacked as well religiously and suffering in the hands of religion? Because Venus being there and the moon.
Yes, even famous people can be witness to this, definitely.
Okay.
Or even hurt.
Will can also be victims of religious kind of aggression.
And problems connected to
moral problems of sorts, yeah.
Or this will be just revealed for some of them, because it may have happened in the past, and just now it will be revealed. So the year definitely will present us with the powers of Venus, planet of love. Right now she is exalted. The beginning of the first day was with this exalted Venus. So definitely we have more love, more understanding and compassion than in other times, but also, again, because of the square of Mars and Saturn, we have some more dark forces, so to say, that are intending to be against such love energy. So
love appears, but it can be challenging.
yes, also these aspects, they are showing changing in the markets. The moon with Mercury and Venus, I think, will give unsteady markets, changing of prices because of the bad aspects of Saturn and Mars. This may happen for the already said reasons and because of some military actions throughout the world.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Can you say that also women in the face of the moon and Venus will get more badass and they'll kind of rise and get angry?
Yeah. In the chart that I saw about that moment, we have Mars and Saturn in an angle in the 4th house.
Okay.
And this is for every place in the world. So definitely much more on local level, there will be moral conflicts, legal conflicts,
It's like civil conflict.
religious conflicts. We are awaiting this for the whole world, and including this is so for the chart that I saw, for example, for USA.
So the 4th house is the normal people, isn't it?
Yes.
And we have two malefics there, so they're the ones that unfortunately are getting those two malefics.
Yes, yes, this can be so.
The most, yeah. Okay.
Everyone will be surprised to see to what degree the moral problems are arising in society.
I don't think even moral, only moral. Mars and Saturn are not only moral, they can be pretty real physical issues there.
Yes,
And
yes, this is so definitely. In the moment of this beginning, also there is present the square between the Sun and Mars, showing that the year will be a military one. There will be conflicts, there will be even war. So it's not pleasant to say this, but these are the aspects.
well, let's hope that also the Venus Mercury conjunction that's gonna more art that is more inspiring will come out of that as well, and more because it's a combination for spirituality to awaken the spirituality of people, albeit in a painful way.
Definitely, the two topics will be well connected. So there is also something else. One star was in culmination. It is the star called Betelgeuse.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, like the movie. Oh, just one thing. Fourth house, isn't it the property of people as well? Do you think Mars, Saturn can collapse the property market being in the fourth house in the chart in the start of the?
Maybe not so much that the market will suffer about property, but maybe there will be some more legal issues and moral conflicts about this, about the problems connected with property and with the market there.
Okay, good. We're not.
So
It's not going to lose all its value.
yes, there has to be a special sign for the changing of the markets, but we have it. We have it because of this Venus Mercury. Because very close to that day, Mercury is about to disappear. Let's say that maybe only 2 months after, 2 months after, which will be around the end of May, beginning of June, there can be some troubles in the markets.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah. I hope not, but.
So, and let's say again about this star that was culminating.
Yes,
It
because
was Betelgeuse. It is part of the constellation Orion. Ancients say that this star has the nature of Mercury and Mars, which means it is well connected with knowledge, but also aggression. Scientists expect this star to explode at some near future, according to their terms. It can be thousands of years, which means that the star is already in a very specific state, some more disturbed, aggressive state. And because of these ancient cultures, they connected this star with some more destructive forces. For example, in India, they consider this star to be connected with the deity called Rudra, which is an ancient form of Shiva. If you know, Shiva in their understanding is this part of the divine trinity that is responsible for destruction of the material world so that the soul can comprehend the spiritual world.
Thank you very much. Spiritual growth
So,
in
so,
unpleasant
so
place.
this star has very high spiritual value and importance, but the ways she will show this, it can be harsh one. And it was in culmination, so maybe this means that some more destruction is intended this year for showing us the true path of development for the people in general. Again.
Where was that star on the spring, on the first day of the new year?
In culmination.
Culminate. Okay, highest in the chart.
Yes, in conjunction with the so-called midheaven.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like a lord of presiding over the year. Wow.
Yes, it will have strong influence, definitely. So, and of course, it's a sign of conflicts, definitely too.
Oh. Sorry.
So, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury, it is becoming invisible, already it is, and this invisibility of Mercury connected with the year in general shows that there can be more lies, more intrigues, but also it shows, because it is in his helical phase, it shows some peak of intellectual activity and achievements. For example, this means that the year somehow will be great about achievements in literature or in the intellectual world in general, for the scientists too. Achievement in the field of science is very much possible this year. Important one. So for us and for the next month, the Mercury becoming invisible means, in general, travels, because it is already disappeared.
How long is it going to be invisible?
Until the middle of June.
Okay.
Long time. So Mercury invisible means that many people who are connected well with Mercury will go in a somehow weaker phase for a couple of months. And in general, for the mankind, this means more difficulties in communication between everyone, more intrigues, lies, troubles with contracts and traveling, and so on. So, what to say? Mercury is already invisible.
And Mercury is retrograde, so a lot of people start saying, "Oh, Mercury's retrograde. I broke my phone. All my flights are delayed." But it happened at the same time when Mercury became invisible. So, according to ancient astrology, it's not the retrograde; it's the invisibility that causes trouble.
Yes, retrograde also can cause some more slowness of the things that can happen, and some more troubles. So it's a combination this time. At the same time, retrograde and invisible are really troublesome Mercury.
Yes,
And
on
this
my
was
forums, everyone's been going crazy how their phones, their devices, their plans and schedules, everything is topsy-turvy, and it's much more, and that there is gossip happening. It's been happening that there is kind of a behind the back, things, and it's more prevalent than ever in the recent times I've seen. I guess it's this double whammy: invisible Mercury and retrograde Mercury at the same time. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
It was very much seen in everyone's lives these days that Mercury caused much troubles, nerves, bad communication, lies, intrigues, mistakes, accidents of every kind in transportation. So we had this influence already, and for the next couple of days it will be still very strong. After that, it will go to a more subtle level in general, but still this invisibility of Mercury will affect us for the next couple of months. So in general, next couple of months are not so good about new contracts or buying a car, for example.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever, many people will have to do it. So, so then be more careful. Be more careful about what you do when you have to sign a contract about it.
How can you protect yourself? Because people have to sign contracts, people have to buy laptops and phones and cars. They just have to check more carefully. And
First, at least they will have to be much more careful and check everything before signing. And according to, if someone wish to have more stronger Mercury, especially the people that are ruled by Mercury may need this. So they have to wear certain stone. According to Vedic tradition, this has to be emerald.
okay, emerald. Carry emerald to strengthen Mercury, guys.
Yes, or any, because it has good price. So if not emerald, there it can be any green stone.
Ah, okay. There you go.
So it has to be chrysolite.
Chrysolite?
Yes.
Crystal.
No. You have to be able to see through him. The light has to go through the stone.
Transparent. Okay.
So it can be said that this month will be the month of the retrograde planets because we have already Jupiter retrograde, and now we have Mercury retrograde. And at the end of this lunar month, Saturn will become retrograde. Of course, this means that many things are slowing down and are not so easy to be achieved. So anyone who wishes to do something about work, it is good and it is necessary for him to do it soon. He don't have to wait too much. 2 weeks until the middle of, even until the 10th of April. Because after that, Saturn is becoming retrograde, which means that the success on practical level will be delayed for some time. And having Mercury retrograde and invisible, and having Jupiter, the planet of success in general, retrograde, so it seems that we have more difficult month than it looks at first glance.
Any idea when it's gonna be good again to start some important business?
In general, I don't recommend this now.
Not till May, maybe?
Yes, at least not before the middle of May.
Not before the middle of May.
Yes. Because until then we have the conjunction of Saturn and Mars. And it is about to become exact very soon, on 2nd of April. And this exact aspect this time, I think, will echo throughout the world because it is connected with some countries, definitely. Especially in the chart of the US, this conjunction will be making an important aspect, opposition to Jupiter in the chart. So this is definitely troublesome thing. I think it is showing moral problems and conflicts and even legal conflicts on general high level for the country.
Yeah, because Jupiter is like
there can be
dignity
important
and
accusations even toward the president of the country. and this can cause really big difficulties in general. But other possibilities include that because Jupiter in the chart is connected with finances, this can show some difficult days on the markets, 2nd of April.
Venus is very close there to Jupiter, as far as I remember, in the chart of the states as well.
Yeah, this is good for Jupiter, but it will only help not all to be so bad. What I mean is just to survive the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It can be really difficult in general. So
expect the start of April some.
Yes, and because this happens so that Saturn and Mars are in the cusp of the 8th house in the chart, and Jupiter happens to be the ruler of the 8th house. And 8th house is connected with accidents and mortality and violence. And Mars and Saturn that are making the aspect are connected with this too. So these are really dangerous days in US, I think. Possibilities of the famous for this country mass violence or terrorist attacks are feared for those days, especially 2nd of April.
Yeah, because Jupiter is also religious beliefs as well. So
yes, so in the beginning of April in US can be really dangerous at some places.
Okay.
This is what I think because of this. So it cannot be said something very positive about this aspect. It affects the whole world in general. There is also something else that will happen. On 28th of March, Mars in its transit will make a conjunction with Saturn that is ruling the solar eclipse that happened in the middle of February. So the eclipse this way will be triggered by Martian energy. The eclipse was visible in US again and in that part of the world in general, Americas. So I can predict big difficulties in Americas, like even more violence in US and Brazil. Because of this aspect on that day, 28th of March, again. So in general, as you can see, starting with the end of the month and later in the beginning of April are troublesome days in general. So you decide if you have to travel, for example.
No travel.
And we have also other bad signs. They are keep coming. Jupiter. Jupiter. It is moving in a conjunction with certain evil, I can say evil star. So the evil star is the main star of the constellation Serpens, in English snake.
Constellations.
So Jupiter is with the main star of the snake. And because Jupiter is representing good things, he can be affected by this conjunction. And because this star is with the nature of Mars, which contains the meaning of violence, so and it is again in the same time frame. So many different signs are showing one and the same thing, that something really bad can happen, like violence and troubles for many people.
Yes, joyful as Nostradamus was only predicting that. But I think it's important that people know that. So don't judge us, guys. Trifon is saying what he's seeing. And yeah, sometimes reality is scary.
There are also many other things, so many aspects between the Sun and Mars. For example, on 24th, Sun is squaring Mars. On the 25th, Mars is with a violent star. So I can extend the period even from 24th. So starting with 24th of March, which is only after 2 days, there is a line of days that are connected with bad aspects.
Maybe 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks, I think.
Many factors that has influence similar to Mars. And all this, of course, will bring tension.
In the personal lives of people as well.
Yes, of course. Of course, not everyone will be affected so much by this, but many people, because Mercury is affected, Mars and Saturn are affected, and they are ruling the charts of at least 30-40% of the humanity.
Yeah, wow.
So many people will feel things like anger, or will enter conflict of some kind, or will have some troubles in general.
It's funny. Even when I think, and it's triggering my horoscope in a powerful way, and these difficult conjunctions, even when I'm locked at home and don't show my nose outside, it still finds you. It's gonna find you through internet. It's gonna find you through something at home, but it finds you. You can't hide.
Yes, the good thing here is not to fear from those aspects, but to be ready to understand that those influences are coming.
And not to freak out when things go a bit topsy-turvy. Just say, okay, this too shall pass. I have 10 days, and it explains it, and the astrology explains it. So there is some divine planning in that. It was meant to happen or whatever.
Yes, I can continue. So on the 2nd April, there are really bad aspects, as I already said. But something that I didn't mention is that the conjunction of Saturn and Mars is somehow scary, because Saturn and Mars are in a conjunction with the star, the main star of the Sword. Sword?
Sword?
Yes, this is a constellation.
Oh, it's Saturn and Mars will be in conjunction with the star of the sword?
Of the Sword, yes.
Something like that. That's how it's gonna feel to humanity.
Yes. So this, of course, at the same time that I thought about the US, this star is, because it represents a sword, a weapon, is connected definitely with violence. And when Saturn and Mars are in conjunction with the star, which happens really rarely, and especially a conjunction, I don't know if it happened in the last 50 years, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So this influence that is coming in the beginning of April is really difficult and can bring a lot of violence.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow. So we should also be careful with knives, using machinery knives and some sharp objects and stuff. It's an accident.
Yes, that was exactly in the place.
Yeah, it's affecting the plans that rule my children and my health. I'm like, I'm gonna lock up all knives. You never know.
Yeah. Let's say something good. After 4 days, on 26th of March, Venus will be about to enter the constellation of Aries. And in doing so, it will conjunct a very beneficial star, a star that is connected with noble deeds and noble qualities. So it means that many people who are ruled by Venus, so these are really many people, maybe around 15% of all people, they will have something good in their lives, and those that are doing important jobs or deeds that they have to achieve something, they will be able to achieve. And they will have good experiences. Also, for the women, important women and important people in art, it can be a special day of more inspiration and success.
So in between all the nightmare, there's a good day there for you women.
There are such there are such good moments, definitely. They are not disappeared. So let's continue with the dark chronology.
Dark, oh, sorry. I'm so tired that I sound irreverent. I'm not laughing for the dark prediction. It's just, when you laugh out of desperation, this is how I protect myself. I laugh and I become silly when something is a bit too dark. Anyway, go. The Dark Chronicles, like you call them.
So later, on the 3rd and 4th of April, Mercury will have bad aspects. First square with Mars, and on the next day, square with Saturn. So remember that I mentioned that there can be troubles on the markets in the beginning of April. Mm-hmm. So definitely those days also are bad for investing. For example, many people can lose.
Okay, don't invest the start of April.
Yes, and of course, those aspects of Mercury, they mean that big accidents can happen in transportation, in the air, or on land, including also there are some more, even an earthquake can happen on 3rd or 4th April.
Mm. Wow.
Yes, Mercury, I noticed it is connected with earthquakes, definitely.
What it's happening in the tropical 10th degree or 9th degree, all of this, isn't it? Tropical cardinal signs of the 9th, 10th degree. All this. If people have any planets using tropical astrology, because I can't convert them to sidereal, Trifon knows it better. But if you have something in tropical zodiac around the first, I would say from 8 to 13, 14 degrees, just be more careful that start of April.
Yes, I just suppose that people don't make important things.
Important decisions.
Those last days of March and the first days of April. Don't make important things. New beginnings. Be a little bit more careful. This can help more if there is some trouble. On the 14th of April, again, there can be troubles on the markets and more danger of big accidents somewhere in the world. Definitely, 14th is a day that contains big danger of violence again and conflicts for the world in general. So in some places of the world, there will be a lot of difficulties. What?
Which day did you say? Sorry.
14th of April. 14th.
Oh fuck! That's my birthday.
Interesting.
Why is that? Because well.
Interesting. So I'm using here a technique, ancient astrological technique, to say this. It's not because of transits or something like this. So in reality, it cannot affect you but some other people. So
Oh,
don't worry.
thank you. Just, everyone
It's
else is affected, but not
not
you.
connected with the chart of the beginning of your solar year.
Okay.
So it's not so.
You're
But
trying just to calm me
you have,
down now because I'm getting here hysterical and freaking out.
but you have this Saturn Mars conjunction in your chart of the year.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, in the first house on the ascendant on my birthday, and someone predicted I'll die this year. So wonderful. Yes.
How could this?
A Vedic astrologer told me, they contacted me and they said, "Oh, I'm just checking up if you're still alive because you're meant to die this year." And I was like, "Thank you. I'm just about to give birth." That was exactly what I wanted to hear, you know. But
An astrologer can never behave like this.
I
Before calculate length of life using the techniques, and of course, many people that are pretending to be astrologers, then they don't even know those techniques and how to use them. So, in general, don't listen to such.
yeah, I want. I have a strong desire to live.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
So let's see what remains. Let's say more, of course.
And isn't it almost everyone that has birthday at the end of March and the first 20 days of April, they're gonna have Mars conjunct Saturn in their solar return chart. So there'll be some area of their life that it's more intense in the next 12 months. So happy birthday, guys.
This is so. Because of the Mars Saturn conjunction, such people can be more affected from lies, principal or legal problems and troubles in general.
Sorry, from lies or
Legal
Okay.
legal troubles, yes. Dishonesty. Because Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is the sign of the truth and honesty, and Saturn and Mars are, so to say, difficult influences. So this will show difficulties with this.
Which matters? It's already.
And it will connect for the this topic for the entire world, of course.
Yeah. And guys, don't forget we're using here the actual constellations. That's why Trifon says they are in the constellation of the Sagittarius. Tropically, it's Capricorn, we call it, but the actual constellations is in Sagittarius. I hope that's all. For once.
Let's say something positive.
Oh,
on 1st of April, the Sun will make a conjunction with the retrograde and invisible Mercury. Of course, when there is a Sun conjuncting Mercury, Mercury is always invisible because it is close to the Sun. But the Sun in conjunction with Mercury retrograde means that if someone wishes to think deeply upon some topic or about the past or about his own problems, he is likely to receive light and knowledge and understanding in his mind on that day. So it's a good day about spiritual activity, and definitely for people who are ruled by Mercury, it will be excellent day in general. So another good day emerges
two so far
from all the suffering. So 1st of April. But after that, every day contains some bad aspect. Remember this.
So
First,
guys,
second, third, until we arrive 15th, 16th,
Of April.
The 17th, still there are so much bad aspects. There are, of course, some others, but even they are mixed with difficult influences.
Is it dangerous to get vaccinated? Because they're forcing me to get vaccinated. I'm worried with Saturn and Mars in the first house. Are they gonna kind of incapacitate me?
You're forced to say? Okay.
I'm the 14th, and they want on the 16th to give me vaccines for immigration. And I've been trying to avoid them, but they're forcing you. You can't deny them, and I'm so worried for that's a violent combination. And
So until when you can do this?
they just gave me one date, the 16th, I think. Let me see. Sorry, guys, some personal thing here, but I just just a second. No, wait. 13th of April. They want to give me like a bag full of vaccinations. And I'm so, because we've had in the family a member die after vaccination, my brother. So when he was born, so I'm so against.
Let's see. Okay, generally speaking, this day is not so bad in that relation, because there is waxing moon still not disappeared with Mercury in a good sign of Jupiter.
Okay, so.
Yeah, but do it early, not in the second part of the day, but in the morning.
At the end of, I'm in a different part of the world where it's the second part of the day already. But sorry to digress this. Anyway, let's get back.
Do it in the morning. Do it in the morning.
Yeah.
So also I saw that for the chart of US, there is a square coming from Jupiter to the Moon in April. Let's talk about this a little bit. So this aspect is showing accusations and legal troubles for the rulers in the country. Also, it is showing desire for knowing the truth, and in general, it's a good time for the country, but because of searching for the truth, it will have some tension.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important moment. It will happen on 10th of April. So watch the news and you'll see how moral troubles are arising on that day in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say something else. Between, I can say, even the whole month of April, Saturn is standing against Jupiter in the chart of US.
Yes, it's stationary almost like the whole time.
Yes, this is similar to humiliation of some kind. Big moral troubles and conflicts. Again, it can cause financial losses, moral conflicts, accusation to the leaders, problems for democracy, and legal problems in general. It's a really difficult aspect. It is whole month, it is showing that the month will be difficult for the country. And because Jupiter is ruling the 8th house, and 8th house is the house of crisis. It is showing a political crisis in that month.
Wow, April will be beep, 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 beep month.
Yes, there is also something more specific. Conjunction Mars-Saturn is hitting such place in the chart of US that will cause serious problems on religious matters and institutions in the country. And with this, I propose to finish for the month.
Yes, and skip a month. Can we just skip to May? And then just wake up in May, maybe missing a leg.
No, take it easy. Take it easy. Bad aspects are happening
all the time.
All the time. Only if some of those things are hitting sensitive points in your own chart, then you can be affected. But this will be for not so much people. Whatever, it will be some troublesome month for many of us. Definitely.
And on that positive note, there was something positive. Not everyone's going to be affected. I want to thank you, Trifon, again, for taking time to teach us those ancient rules and to explain astrology through those ancient rules that we've forgotten. Because now astrology tends to be focused on love and light mostly, but life is hard as we know it. And rhinoceros disappear from the face of the earth, and geniuses like Stephen Hawking pass away. So unpleasant things happen. So thank you for warning us to be prepared and hopefully have the ability to exercise this 25% free will we have to kind of protect ourselves and make wise choices and surround ourselves with prayers and positive energy, which can protect us definitely. So thank you so much again. If you'd like a reading with Trifon, I promise you his personal readings are more positive.
Yes, next time it will be definitely more positive because this is a rare thing that is happening now with so much.
Happy birthday, Aries. We're all fucked. Anyway, thank you so much, Trifon, and I will see you soon again after the world is finished in April. So yeah, so just kidding. Anyway, to lighten up.
Everything will be all right, but let's see first.
Yeah. Well, everyone have a great, as much as you can, week ahead, and I will see you soon. So yeah, you can check out personal readings with Trifon Nikolov from Astrology.com. I'm putting a link below. His personal readings are very precise and correct. I mean, I remember when my friend contacted you and you said you're going to live on an island, and she was just moving to Tenerife with a big mountain in the middle. And she moved there, and everything you predicted for her came true. So you can give very specific and correct predictions, which is amazing, using those ancient techniques. So thank you so much again, and I will see you soon.
Bye to everyone. See you next time.